Good evening, all of you.
Good
Sir,
evening, sir.
good evening, sir.
Shall we start now, or shall we wait for 5 minutes more? Let others join.
Sir, can we discuss the assignment questions today? The short notes particularly.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean to say, do you have any query or any
No, in the
clarifications
in
needed?
the sir, in the assignment we have some short notes. So
Ji.
can we discuss that thing?
Sure, why not? Can you please speak which assignment, which
Uh, Sir, the short notes are balance of payment (BOP) and
mhm,
corporate social responsibility (CSR),
mhm.
tax reforms and farm reforms 2020. These are
Actually,
the
this
short
is,
notes.
these are the short notes. I
Yes, sir.
will discuss one by one. First one, please tell what is that one? Balance of payments.
Balance of payments. Yes.
Acha, I think we have not discussed that unit in our classroom discussion. However, we shall discuss here right now. Actually, there is a trade between countries which is called as foreign trade. Imports and exports are the two key elements in the foreign trade. We buy from other countries and also we sell to other countries some goods and commodities and services also. When we buy the goods and commodities from other countries, simply it is called as the imports. When we sell the goods and commodities to other countries, it is also called as the exports. By the process of imports, we are making payment to outside countries. By the process of exports, we are getting the revenue from the or money from the foreign countries. This is inflow and outflow of foreign currency. And another one is the inflow and outflow of goods and commodities and services from the country to the country also. There is a balance. I mean to say, the net effect of imports with exports is called as balance of payments. Imagine, suppose we are having a business.
Sir, could you please repeat the last statement? What is called balance of payment?
Balance of payment is the difference between the imports and exports,
Okay. Thank you, sir.
including some other things, but major we categorically we shall understand that balance of payment means basically the difference between the imports and exports. Certain other factors are, I mean to say, other areas are also there, but key elements are imports and exports. So generally, the difference between the imports and exports, we shall call it as the balance of payments. I think there is another unit for balance of payments. We shall discuss in detail there, but for the classroom now, we are having this discussion right now. So when we are making imports, we are making payments. When we are making exports, we are receiving the foreign currencies. The net effect is called as the balance of payments. In case of the countries which are advanced, which are developing, or which are developed, which are developing, and which are underdeveloped, the balance of payment case is different. Scenario is different. How is the scenario is different? In case of most advanced countries, generally they export plant and machinery, heavy equipment, like that one. And in case of underdeveloped countries, they import the plant and machinery, heavy equipment, technology, tools and equipments, like that one. So generally the advanced countries are in the advantageous position over the underdeveloped countries in the case of balance of payments. In case of developing countries, there is a switchover from consumer goods to producer goods. The country becomes self-reliant, self-sufficient in the factors of production, technology, manpower utilization, resources utilization, like that one. So generally, or so to say, in a common way, we may tell that balance of payment is the difference between imports and exports of a country over a year or a period of time. Is it clear to you? Is it clear, madam, or any further clarification needed?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Someone is telling anything else?
No, sir, continue.
Okay. Madam, what's the second question?
It's a corporate social responsibility, CSR.
CSR. It's a very interesting thing. What is CSR actually? A business, a corporate house, it utilizes everything taken from the society. It takes the manpower from the society. It takes the natural resources from the society. It also uses the environment, and it also is responsible for the pollution of the environment also in the area in which the factory or the business is operating or running. Corporate social responsibility means as the business is taking every kind of advantage from the society, natural resources, manpower, land utilization, water utilization, everything the business is taking from the society. On the other hand, business is earning profits, business is growing day by day. Now, what the society is getting in return? People are getting employment, government is getting tax, people are getting goods and commodities also. However, the liability or the responsibility of the business is not over. Government has put one restriction that the business houses which are successful in operating and the business houses which are having surplus and the business houses which are having profit generation capability, they should contribute some percentage of their profits towards the development of the society. That responsibility is called as corporate social responsibility. In the CSR, many things are included, like I mean to say donation of the ambulances for hospital purposes, construction of some schools for tribal people or so to say the poor people, uh, for supply of aquaguards, fans, I mean to say the smart classroom system in schools and colleges. So lot of things are included under the CSR concept. That is called as corporate social responsibility. You might have seen one small example I will give you. Nearer to Javier Square, there is a park. Have you anyone gone to the park? It is written there. The park is maintained by, the name of the company is written there. In the street lights also, you might have seen some street lights where the board is written there. The light system is maintained by, name of a company is mentioned there. That is called as the corporate social responsibility, CSR. Is it clear, madam?
Yes, sir.
Fine. And then the third question,
It's tax reforms.
tax reforms. Which year it is given or no?
This year only we got this assignment, sir.
Acha. In the tax reform, actually, huh, tax is imposed by government. Tax is one of the major source of income of the government also. As we the individuals, we get our salary by service, we get our income by doing business, like that one. Government also is generating some revenue and also is making some expenditures or expenses, so to say. Overall, government is the custodian of the nation, as we were discussing earlier time. Government always is having the target for growth of the society, growth of the people. For any developmental work, for any work to be initiated by the government, there is need of funds. So that is, so to say, revenue. Government is getting revenue, government is doing the expenditure also. Every year, government is preparing one budget. You might have heard the term budget. Every year, it is being prepared. The sources of income and so the flow of expenditure or the sources of expenditure, all these things are mentioned in the budget also. Tax. There are two kinds of taxes. One is direct tax, another one is the indirect tax. Direct tax means you know very well that is income tax, it is called. Indirect tax means the tax which is not a burden on everyone, which is not a burden on everyone, but it is a type of liability which is to be paid by the person or the individual who is utilizing the service or who is utilizing the or getting benefit out of the product. That means like GST, like your entertainment tax, like anything like that one. Government is getting tax in these two sources, direct tax as well as the indirect tax. Every year there is budget and there is changes in the tax policy also. Day by day, the tax policy is being reformed, amended as per the need of the government and as per the need of the society also. In the tax policy, government decides that which sector is to be taxed more, which sector is to be taxed less, and which sector is to be exempted also. There are you might have seen certain burning topics of discussion was earlier about petrol prices. The tax imposed on the petrol and the final price which a consumer is paying on consumption of petrol. It was being a matter of discussion quite long a time back. Quite for a long time, the discussion was made there also. So our discussion point of view is your tax reforms. So the tax reforms are being framed and implemented by the government through different tax system, and the major target of the tax reform is to overcome the loopholes and to enhance the effectiveness of the tax administration in the country. That means whenever or in whichever year the government is making a tax policy, there are certain loopholes. People take advantage of the loopholes, and in the next year, government makes the amendment, government makes the reform to overcome that loophole. Further, government is every year the expenses are increasing. The burden on the government is also increasing year after year. There is no possibility of you imagine recently the huge burden on the part of the government due to the COVID. COVID-19 has ruined like everything. Everyone is being affected in the society. Government as a whole also affected. How it is affected? You imagine the year 1900, 1920 when all the business houses were being closed. Sales were almost 80-90% were also down. Now, naturally, the GST collection will be less. So the government's revenue part become less. But the expenditure for the hospital, it increased like anything. Now, recently, government is providing the COVID vaccine free to the poor people or to the needy people. Where from the money government will get? Naturally, there shall be the taxation policy which will attract more tax, more revenue for the government. So, basically, the objective of tax reform is to increase the tax collection, overcome the loopholes, lower the cost involved to organize the tax system, lower the number of tax defaulters, and decreasing the marginal tax rates. This is called as the tax reforms. Is it clear to you, madam?
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion regarding tax reform? Anyone needed? Fine. Madam, next point.
It's Farm Reforms 2020.
Farm means FARM or FIRM?
FARM, Farm Reforms 2020.
Reforms 2020. It is in which unit, madam?
Don't know, sir. It's in the assignment actually, the question.
Acha. Farm Reforms 2020. Acha. Farm means what, madam? Can you tell me? Or anyone from the group?
For the agricultural farm.
Agriculture. Very good. Agriculture. So, farm and farm, two things are there. FIRM, FARM. Right?
FIRM may be the industry and FARM
Industry
is the
business.
agriculture.
Very good, madam. FARM is the agriculture.
Yes.
Farm laws, agricultural reforms in the year 2020 is called as the Farm Laws 2020, which was a topic of discussion in the recently in India. You might have heard everyone. The farm law which was to be implemented decided by the government, that was being repealed,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Why it is being repealed? Only due to the protection from
Yes,
farmers
sir. Protest.
union, farmers union, and the various representatives who were there against the farm laws. Now, what happened actually? The farm law, which was likely to be implemented, it was to be extended for the whole of India. It was decided to be implemented in the year 2020.
So one question, is it the same farm laws which have got repealed, which we are discussing
Yes,
now?
yes, exactly,
Okay.
exactly, 2020, right? Better, actually, it is nice to see that the syllabus is now made up to date, so that all the recent happenings we are able to discuss and also reflect in our discussion point of view also,
Hello,
classroom
hello,
discussion.
sir. Hello, hello.
Ji. Please, Peter.
Sir, can we write the 2021 the Modi's government doing in the pharmacist? That can be also note in this assignment.
Actually, 2020, the conclusion is made in 2021, right?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. But sir,
I,
do they make any sense now because they have already been repealed? Is there a point in reading this and having this in the assignment?
why not, madam? Why not? Actually, in the assignment, when the questions are being designed, it might not have been decided to repeal the farm law. Another thing is also there.
Yeah,
As
that
this,
point.
Sir, because I write the assignment in the searching from the 2021, the farm on the Modi's government doing on the recent news. I'm note on it. It is okay for the assignment, na, sir?
no issue. Actually,
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
that farm law 2020 is being repealed in 2021. First thing, get it clear. I am coming to that one. Just listen carefully. The farm law, it was decided to be amended in the year 2020. It was to be extended to the whole of India. The bill was introduced in Lok Sabha in the month September 2020, and it was passed in the Rajya Sabha also September 2020. Problem was there, the bill which was to be implemented in India, the background was designed for certain purposes. The basic purpose was to safeguard the interest of small and marginal farmers. The Act provides, or the Act included various provisions. What are the various provisions? The Act provides an agreement between a farmer and a buyer prior to the production or rearing in any farm produce. That means the Act provides in a kind of agreement between a farmer and a buyer, so that the buyer is at his liberty to choose any farmer. The farmer is at his liberty to choose any buyer. It is open to all, no restriction regarding that one. Second one, the minimum period of agreement is also specified there. It is generally a cycle of livestock. Cycle means to understand very well. A crop season, there is a cycle. It is only for a cycle or for a crop season. The maximum period, it shall be 5 years, not beyond that one. That means one person, one buyer cannot make any agreement with any farmer for a period of more than 5 years. He cannot say that for lifetime you go on producing the product and sell me, but it is only restricted for a period of 5 years only, but not beyond 5 years. Then the price. The price for the product should means must be mentioned in the agreement, and the price must be a guaranteed price which is having reference with the price fixed by the government also. Then there is a dispute mechanism system which shall solve all the disputes relating to the farmers and buyers. It is one thing. Second, from the year 2020, further amendments were made. In that further amendments, there are actually 2 to 3 amendments, small amendments in the farm laws were made. There was a trade. The Act allows to trade in outside trade areas. That means in the previous time, the farmer was supposed to sell all the goods in the nearby mandis. But now the act allows the farmers to trade in outside trade areas, anywhere, keeping the product in the cold storage, selling the product anywhere else also. Then the farmer is given alternative trading channels. Alternative trading channel means he is free to search his prospective buyer for the product. Then the law allows electronic trading system. Electronic trading system means to understand that online through the product can also be the farmer or the buyer, they can also do the deal through internet. Then the market fee, there is a fee, that is to say the when the agreement is made, when the transactions have to be made, a fee was to be charged. Now the fee is abolished. This is another farm law amendment in the year 2020, right? But what are the major issues which was being made a national issue, as a result of which government decided to repeal the law? Actually, in the present time, the small farmers, marginal farmers, whatever product they are producing, you know very well at what price they are producing, at what price they are selling the product, and who is getting the major benefit out of the agricultural marketing system. Actually, the middlemen, they are getting the maximum benefit. They are purchasing the agricultural products at a quite low price from the farmer. They are selling the goods to the wholesaler in the market at a reasonable price, not below that reasonable price. And that portion, different portion, is quite a good amount which the middleman is taking. So government decided to make some reforms in this one, but it was being opposed by the farmer union and by different political parties. As you know, our country is a democratic setup, so government is supposed to hear the voice of all the people, all the parties also. And due to the prolonged strike and the international defamation of the country as well as of the government decided to repeal the farm laws. Okay. Any further discussion do you need regarding this one?
Sir, is social responsibility of business and CSR same? Both of them.
Both of are same, madam. Social responsibility of business, corporate social responsibility, both are same.
Okay.
No difference meaning is there. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Acha. Next question, madam.
Sir, this much only, the short notes.
So you write down the assignments. If any further query is needed, and Google is there, no issue. Now we shall come to one discussion: economic policy reforms.
Sir, one query, sir. Sir, Google is there, but I write from the Google to the 2021. It is okay, na, sir?
You
the
have
farmers
written farmers.
No. Yeah, the farmers reform.
Huh?
Written by the 2021, which done by the Modi's government. It is okay, na, sir?
There is no problem, provided find
okay, sir.
Get it clear that when the law was being made, it was in 20 or 21. If it is in 21, obviously it is not as per our question.
Okay, sir. Okay.
It might have been 20. Actually, in 21 there is no farm laws government has made, because government was under the pressure from the 2020 farm laws till now.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that might be the answer. No issue.
No. It is a short note, na, sir. We can write both 20 and 21 issues. Also, be a short note for this.
Actually, from examination point of view, the most safe side is that to include these two. The farm laws in 2020, the repeal in the 2021. Then the answer is clear.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Now, shall we discuss another new area, economic policy? Acha. What is economic policy? Little bit history we shall discuss. Uh, a country is having its economic activities, as we were discussing earlier. Economic environment of the country is there, where there is trade, business, imports, exports, government rules, regulations, policies, frameworks, guidelines, industrial policy resolutions. Many things are there. There is the first clarification today we are discussing regarding the balance of payment. Here the question arises. Suppose our people are going to America and Japan for the purpose of traveling. They will make the payment in, suppose you are going to America for the purpose of traveling. When you will go to America, when you will make any restaurant payment, will they accept your rupee or you have to make the payment through dollar?
Through dollar only, sir.
Dollar
Dollar
only.
only.
Very good, very good. Now, suppose one American person, he came to India. Now he is going to purchase anything.
Sir, he
He
has
will
to
make
pay in rupees only.
rupees only. So how he will get the rupees?
Foreign exchange.
Very good. So he will approach RBI or the representative banks of RBI which can exchange the currency. Now that dollar is exchanged with Indian rupee. Then the value is same or different for Indian rupee and a dollar?
Sir, 75 rupees.
No, I mean to say it is fixed or it changes.
It changes every day, sir. It's
How
traded.
it changes, madam? How it
Sir,
changes?
it is been traded on in all the international exchanges, right? Amongst all the currencies, dollar,
So
euro.
why there is fluctuation?
So
Why?
due to the markets,
Sir, the
So
crude oil because
market will determine everything regarding price of every commodity, every currency.
sir, it based on the gold reserve with the international bank, World Bank.
International bank. Acha.
So
So
it's dependent on the supply of the dollar in the Indian market.
very good. This is one of the most appropriate answer. Actually, the
Okay.
availability of dollar, the demand for dollar, these two determine, that is demand and supply. That is the demand and supply for dollar. This is one factor. Second factor, the crude oil prices, because we are the huge importers of crude oil. Naturally, we have to make the payment through dollars. There is
Okay.
then demand for dollar. Then, when our people are going to other countries, we are making payment their dollars. When they are coming to India, they are making exchange of dollars. So there is inflow and outflow of dollar. When we are purchasing the goods from foreign countries, we are making the dollar payments. When we are receiving the exports from, when we are making the exports, we are receiving the dollars. When we are making the imports, we are making payment of the dollars. So dollar is the common medium of exchange of currency in place
Yes,
of
sir.
rupee. Now what happens? In the year 1991, when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister, the country was in a huge financial crisis. What was that huge financial crisis? Now our foreign exchange reserve, it was such, it came down to such a level that the country was facing huge difficulty to manage its foreign trade for a couple of days also. First thing is there, balance of payment decreased. Second one, value of Indian currency decreased further day by day, day by day, day by day. And the government was not having adequate resources now to arrange the dollars also. When now, what happens actually? Suppose we are in need of money, we shall approach to any commercial bank. You give me some loan. Fine. Commercial bank will give you loan if you are having your credibility, or so to say, your worthiness, or so to say, your repayable capability. Same case happened to India. Now, when the country was running in financial crisis, it approached the IMF, International Monetary Fund. International Monetary Fund, after making a review of the Indian financial system, it denied, told that we shall not make, or we are not going to make any kind of financial help to your country unless you make reforms in your economic policy. So there was a discussion on the table. In the table, government not demanded, government asked for help of some financial help from IMF, International Monetary Fund. IMF put a condition that if you make economic reforms of your country, then only I shall give you some financial assistance. As a result of which, overnight, huge quantity of gold was being given, and economic reform is to be met. That signature was being met, so to say, the agreement is met with the International Monetary Fund. Under the economic reform, what has to be done? LPG scheme, it is introduced. What is LPG? Liberalization, privatization, and globalization. What is liberalization? In the country prior to 1991, all the business sectors, business areas, they were being managed, operated by the government itself. Only few areas, few sectors were kept open for the private sector. In the economic policy reform, first the door was kept open for the private sector. Not all, but some of the reserved areas was being kept open for the private sector participation. That is liberalization. Second one, privatization. Government was doing huge business. Majority of the public sector companies, public sector organizations were running huge losses year after year. To overcome the burden of loss, to overcome the burden of the enterprises, government decided to sell its equity, to sell its stake. That is called as the privatization process. Privatization process is the process through which government sells its stake to others. As a result of which, many government companies, many government undertakings, they were being privatized, liberalized, privatized, globalized. What is globalized? When the door of the country is kept open before the rest of the world to do business. That means in the prior to 1991, Indian economy was completely closed. No multinational company, no foreigners, no foreign company, no foreign institutional investor can come to India and do business prior to 1991. In the year 1991, in the economic reform policy, it was decided to make the country globalized one. Under the globalization
Please
policy,
repeat the definition of liberalization. What is liberalization?
liberalization. Hello?
Yes, sir, liberalization.
Acha, liberalization. In the year 1991, as per the agreement with International Monetary Fund, Government of India decided to go for economic reforms of the country. In the economic reforms, three things were included. One is LPG. First one is liberalization. Second one, privatization. Third one is the globalization. In the liberalization means the sectors of business which were exclusively kept only for public, or so to say the government, that was being kept open for participation from private sector. That
Sir,
is
any
called as,
example?
examples are many, madam. First example, banking sector. In the earlier time, we have seen only State Bank of India, UCO Bank, Indian Bank, Allahabad Bank, etc., etc. In the year 1991, after the liberalization, different foreign banks entered into India. Private banks started in the year 1991 in India also. You might have seen the change in the name UTI to Axis Bank. You might have seen the formation of ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank. Then
Okay,
the
sir.
different foreign banks also are there in India. One example. Second example, in the schools and colleges, In the earlier time, almost all the schools and colleges were being owned by the government. Now you see everywhere there is a private school, private college, private organization.
But sir,
Second,
is it not privatization then?
no, it is not privatization. It is not private. Privatization meaning is different. I am coming to that one. Once more, I will tell you. Just I have told, but once more, I will tell you. It is not privatization. It is liberalization because this area, this sector, earlier private people were not allowed to do business in that sector. Now it is being kept open. That is called as the liberalization. Regarding privatization, privatization means the company earlier owned by the government, now the stake of the government is sold, as a result of which the management is given in the hands of private sector. That is
Just
called
like
as
Air India got sold recently. That is
exactly. This is the best example. You can get it clear. That is called as the privatization. Liberalization, privatization, both are different. In liberalization, sectors kept reserved for government is open to private. But in privatization, government company is being just its ownership changed to private company. Or so to say, it is in the hands of the private sector.
okay.
That is
So sir, in
liberalization.
liberalization, that means even some government organizations are running and some private players can also come in, like bank, as you said. SBI is a
Everywhere.
government
Yes,
one, and then
yes,
HDFC is a private one.
yes.
Okay.
Nowadays, you see, madam, everything everywhere, government and private both are there. Everywhere,
Yes, both
bus.
are,
You
yeah.
are going for any bus transportation service. There is
Yes, sir.
OSRTC government bus. There is private bus.
Yes,
You
sir.
go to school, there is government school, there is private school. You go to hospital, there is government hospital, there is private hospital. You go to insurance sector, there is government insurance sector. That is the, I mean to say, government ର କଣ କଣ ଅଛି ଆମର ଗୋଟେ LIC ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ହଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କର
New India.
New India, right? But in the private sector, many insurance companies are there, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is called as the liberalization, privatization, and now third one is the globalization.
So that is
But
FDI, right? Globalization.
FDI is only part of globalization, madam. Not
Oh, yes, sir.
fully. I mean to say, what is the meaning you understand? Then you can tell what is FDI, what is that one. Then what is globalization? Globalization means when the country which was being kept reserved for the home people only to do business, that is
Mm-hmm.
restricted zone. Now,
Yeah.
when the country is kept open before the rest of the world for
Mm-hmm.
doing business as per the international rules and regulations,
Mm-hmm.
that is called as the globalization term.
Globalization.
In the globalization term, certain things are made changes. I will give you one by one example, you will get it better.
Okay, sir.
First example, their first concept came of technological collaboration. Technological collaboration, or so to say, sharing of technical know-how. Example, there a joint venture was also there. And third one is the FDI, foreign direct investment. In the earlier time, Hero and Honda company, they made a joint venture. Hero company of India, Honda Motors of Japan. Now, in India, they sold the products under the name Hero Honda, Maruti of India, and Suzuki of Japan. Maruti Suzuki. Like that one, the collaboration was being made. Under that collaboration system, the technology of Honda was being used in India by the Hero Motors. And for the technology, Hero Motors was to pay an amount or a certain amount to the Honda company of Japan. That is one example. But later on, gradually, government decided to keep the sector open for direct investment. What is direct investment then? Then government decided, no, there is no need of restriction of only technology transfer. Better to start business in India itself. As a result of which, Honda company started its plant in India. Now, Hero Motors is selling mopeds, as well as Honda company is also selling the mopeds under the two brand names in two different sectors, right? So that is called as the globalization concept. Nowadays, under the globalization concept, as per the latest economic reforms, government is keeping majority of the sectors open for the FDI in banking, in insurance, in education, in health services, everywhere. Government is now making everything open under the globalization scheme. Any doubt regarding the LPG scheme, liberalization, privatization,
Well,
and
for
globalization?
FDI, I mean, in MNCs, we can say FDI, there are SEGs and all those things. But in hospital education, how is FDI contributing?
In hospital cases,
In healthcare and in education, other sectors, how is FDI contributing?
actually, madam, we are in Odisha.
Yes, sir.
We are also having different hospitals, schools, colleges like that one.
From
FDI,
foreign investors.
foreign investors. First of all, you imagine where they shall be more interested to invest their money.
Big ventures.
Big ventures. Big ventures are there in education or in shipping,
That's
building
also, I
construction.
mean, those are there in mining, shipping, big
In
ventures.
first one is they are making big ventures in banking, insurance sectors,
Yeah.
mining, real estate business. Like that one they are doing. They are not making focus on these small areas like the education and the health services. In health services in metro cities, you may come across some hospitals with foreign venture collaborations. One small example, madam, you might be having health insurance.
But
Yes, sir.
that's tied up with New India, sir.
Ah, madam. There is a term Bajaj Alliance. Bajaj Alliance.
That's Indian only, right?
No, madam.
Oh,
Make a search of that one.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So nowadays foreign banks are there operating in India. Now tell me that is FDI or that is technological collaboration? Foreign banks are operating in India. What is that one?
Sir, FDI only.
FDI. They are making now direct investment. They are doing direct
Yes.
business now, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the basic concept of LPG. Any doubt regarding this one?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Fine, fine. Now later on, you please go through the foreign trade policy. Almost you go to the recent years nowadays, 2020, 21 or the latest one. See some changes in the foreign trade policy of the government of India. In the recent changes, lot of changes government has made in the economic reforms. You might have heard. I will tell you some names. You can get it better. First one, uh, in the name that is Make in India.
Yes, sir.
Is there any need of clarification for Make in India? No.
Sir, it's
Go-
the opposite of FDI, right? Make in India.
Which one?
Here, Indians are doing the things, even
Make,
foreign,
make in India is simply a concept of startup business in India. We shall make
by
everything.
Indians or with foreign investors.
No, we shall be on our own. Self-sustained.
Yes, sir.
Self-sustained. That is make in India.
Yeah, yeah.
Under the Make in India scheme, government decided to give some support to start up some business which are to be named under the brand Make in India. Actually, we the people are having more impression that if we see a product made in USA, made in Japan, made in China, but any product made in India, generally that does not attract the attraction point. That is not attraction point view of the consumer. But now
Yes,
recently
sir.
the concept is changed. Government decided to make some good products under the term, under the name that is Make in India scheme. It is one reform.
Yes, sir.
Second reform, doing business. In the earlier time, in order to do a business, lots of hurdles, lot of restrictions, lot of formalities were being fulfilled. Nowadays,
Yes,
government is
sir.
telling single window clearance system and faster clearance. There is a time bound nowadays. For this process, it has to be completed in these days. For this process, it has to be completed in these days. This makes it better that an entrepreneur knows very well. If I shall apply, I shall get my clearance within this time frame period. That is easy of doing business. Another reform was made in GST, goods and service tax. Goods and service tax is imposed by government almost many products are included under the GST. However, as per the need of the people, or so to say, as per the need of the society, government has exempted some products from GST also, like the water, etc., etc. Another term is there in the reform, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Any idea regarding this one?
Government has opened bank accounts for the underprivileged and government gives some loan to them for doing business.
Why this account is being kept open?
They did not have any bank accounts to, start with. So government gave so that they will have the base for digital payment, and which will further include,
No,
uh,
madam. It is right,
Capital
but
formation.
but the basic objective of government is something different. In the earlier time, when the beneficiary under the government scheme was getting the benefit, it was being manipulated.
okay,
Government
sir, I got your point. It is because that now the 100 paise will reach to the end customer, not the
exactly that is
15 paise.
exactly DBT, direct benefit transfer system.
Yeah.
Very good. Now another reform is there, that is called as the Mudra scheme. Heard this one? Anyone? Mudra scheme.
Mudra loan, that is what I said, sir. That government.
Mudra loan is meant for MSME sector. Just keep in mind that one, micro, small, medium enterprises sector. Mudra loan is there. They will get the loan quickly, easily from different banks. And there is one Mudra, which is a subsidiary of SIDB, Small Industries Development Bank of India. And
Okay,
Mudra was
CDB.
SIDB, Small
Yes,
Industries Development Bank of India. Under that brand, Mudra was created with authorized capital of 1,000 crores. Okay, that is
sir.
Mudra scheme. This is one of the reforms in the economic policy. Another reform that was made in the economic reform, Swachh Bharat Mission. Swachh Bharat Mission. It is also included in the economic reform policy. Why it is made? It is clear. There was a taxation policy. Income tax, you might have, anyone paying income tax, you might have seen cess, see education cess, health cess, etc., etc. In the Swachh Bharat Mission, government decided to go for this scheme where incentives are to be given for construction of individual household latrines. Incentives are given to make clean India, Swachh Bharat Mission or Clean India concept. Under that concept, huge financial burden is also there, but keeping in different sources of income, sources of revenue generation, government decided to give permission for creation of avenues for additional contribution for the purpose of SBM, Swachh Bharat Mission, or so to say Clean India. Nowadays, there is a concept Clean India, Green India. We are seeing everywhere Green India, Clean India, right? Make in India, then Mudra scheme. So all these are the different. Startup India. Startup India concept is there. Government highlighted recently regarding creation of business. And this Startup India, it is to promote entrepreneurial skills among the women and from the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe individuals. That is the Startup India concept, where a bank loan is given from 10 lakhs to 1 crore for greenfield enterprises, for SC/ST borrowers from different banks also. That is your Startup India concept scheme.
But
Then,
sir, it has a condition, right? It should be a new idea. It should not have got implemented in the past. It should have
madam,
3 years of success.
startup concept means that one. Startup means what? Anything new, not anything old. Startup means anything new which is not being implemented, some new idea, Madam, do you think that new ideas are not there in the market? Yes, there are there. Genius people, brilliant people, or sort of the people who are doing research scheme specifically, they can get ideas which are new, something new, something new. That is called as the startup concept. Startup does not mean old business in a new form. That is something new. Okay. Then PM Ujjwala Yojana. This is for what? LPG. This is the LPG, liquefied petroleum gas to the, no idea regarding this one?
No, sir. What Yojana did you say? Could you please repeat?
Prime Minister Ujjwala Yojana.
Okay, that is to give over gas cylinders to each and every household.
Not each and everyone, madam. The government
I
is not
mean,
giving to
Mainly
us.
poor person.
to some income level, maybe.
Exactly. To the women below the poverty line.
Okay,
Just,
okay.
just remember this concept, connection to the women only below poverty line. Okay. Next one. There is another term, that is Skill India concept. There is Ministry of Skill Development Entrepreneurship, that was being given financial assistance for the purpose of development of the concept, Skill India concept. There are, you might have seen different, what it is called actually, training centers, skill development training centers, where people are being trained with different skills so that they can have their source of livelihood. They can generate their
Even the
source
skill
of income.
development minister is from our Odisha only, right? So Dharmendra Pradhan is the minister for this.
The great Pradhan ji there. So this is your Skill India concept, right? So these are the economic reforms in India. Any further discussion regarding economic reforms?
Sir, are there any recent economic events, I mean reforms beyond 1991, or the ones which you are following are from 1991 only?
No, I am telling 2019, I think, economic reforms. I just discussed LPG scheme, liberalization, privatization, globalization, 1991. But स्वच्छ भारत योजना, प्रधानमंत्री उज्जवल योजना, स्किल इंडिया, स्टार्टअप इंडिया, ये तो मोदी जी का काम है.
हाँ, ये सब तो मोदी जी का काम है.
ये रिसेंट
सर, ये
अमेंडमेंट
पिछले गवर्नमेंट का काम है. इस टेन्योर में ये सब कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. ये तो वोट 15-16 का है. ये सब
नहीं मैडम,
अभी का सेकंड टेन्योर का है.
आप देख लीजिए, और जो स्कीम चल रहा है गवर्नमेंट का, अभी चल रहा था स्टार्टअप इंडिया, 2-3-4 साल का शायद टाइम होगा. उज्जवल योजना शायद 5-6-7 साल का अंदर होगा.
तो वही ना सब फर्स्ट टेन्योर का है ये सारा स्कीम.
हाँ, हो जाएगा, वही रिसेंट है. अभी चल रहा है क्या, ग्रीन इंडिया, क्लीन इंडिया, स्टार्टअप इंडिया, स्वच्छ भारत योजना, क्लीन, ये तो चल रहा है
अभी तो वो रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट में रेवोल्यूशनलाइज हो रहा है ना, वो फास्टैग और वो सब EV, electronic vehicles.
Oh, EV concept.
Yes, sir.
Right. That is not included here in the recent changes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So please go through all these things, and in the coming class, I shall conclude with all the units, a little discussion about the current major concepts, and if you have any queries, we shall discuss in the coming class.
Okay, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Crystal.
Yeah, sir, in first unit, some economic growth theories are there.
Economic
So
growth principle.
yeah, Harrow, Domar model, the different theories are there. So
Unit one.
Perhaps you don't have.
I am not having that one.
You don't. Okay,
Can
sir,
you please send
I'm
to them?
sending. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sending it
Please
today.
send it. In the next class, we shall discuss that one also.
A little bit basic ideas we need to have.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.